Hello and welcome to the RCB podcast powered by Kotak Mahindra Bank. Do you remember the day you got picked up by RCB? And just to go back in time, what were you doing that day?
Well, we were all in Malaysia for the Under-19 World Cup, and I remember the day when the drafts were happening, and the Under-19 dynamic was a little different because we very rightly so had a money cap, if I could say. I mean, that was the only time where I saw a restriction on how much you could be picked for if you haven't played for India, of course. So that for us was, I remember even that moment for us was so amazing, because the amount that we got picked for, when they revealed it, we were like, we couldn't believe it, you know. So if you had played a number of first class games, you were eligible to get X amount of money, which was the maximum in that bracket. And if you hadn't, it obviously was lesser. So when we heard that we were picked for that much, we obviously didn't know anything about the teams. We didn't know anything about the dynamic of the tournament. We understood what it's going to be like. We knew that the opportunity is going to be huge, but we didn't know how the environment's going to be. For us at that time was, wow, we never imagined at this age we'd be getting that kind of money, which, you know, obviously is a big impact in anyone's life, especially when most of the cricket players you see come from backgrounds which are not as privileged in terms of, you know, having facilities ready and stuff to use at any time you want. So you have to work through the ranks and you have to work really hard. So it just gives you a new motivation in life that, yes, what I'm doing is going to reap me the rewards, which I believe should be the case when you've chosen it as a career. And I clearly remember we went absolutely crazy. There was one conversation where I heard from people that the Delhi team is interested to go after me, but then the dynamic of their squad turned out to be so that they went for Pradeep Sangwan, who was a left-arm seamer, amazing bowler. At the time, he was our best bowler in Under-19, and so Delhi decided to go for him because they wanted their bowling strengthened. And then RCB picked me, and that I think, again, in hindsight, I feel like that was such an impactful moment in my life, which I didn't realize at the time. But now when I look back, things could have been very different to what they are now, and I would not have it any other way than this.
2010, Kevin Peterson, Mark Boucher, Ross Taylor, Darren Sammy, Manish Pandey, Robin Uthappa. The RCB management decides to let go of all of them and put the team's responsibility on your shoulders. That must have been a big moment, right?
I felt great, to be honest. I didn't shy away from it, because I knew the first 3 years of the IPL, I knew that I always had this belief that I can do something special for the team, but I was not. But you obviously have your own skill sets as well. So I felt like the composition of that team, where there were amazing players and rightly so in the right positions, I was not able to play in the position that was my strength. And for the first 3 years, it was on and off, more like a scratch for me, a performance here, a performance there. It wasn't as free-flowing and as consistent as I would have liked it to be, because I was playing at number 3 for India and I wasn't getting to do that in the IPL. So it was a bit of a strange situation for me, because I felt like I can replicate my India performances here and maybe better if I get the opportunity. And I remember, I think it was Ray Jennings at the time, coach, and Sid, who approached me. I remember we were playing the Champions League in South Africa, and shortly after that were the retentions going to take place. So Ray Jennings and Sid came and they said, we want to have a chat with you. We are looking to retain only you from next year onwards, and we'll build a totally new squad. And I was like, that's great. That's the opportunity I'm looking for. But I told them very clearly, there's only one condition. I will only bat at number 3 and nowhere else. They said, fair enough. And I knew that I can do something special for the team. and I had no problem accepting that responsibility and for the team to feel like yes, they can count on me.
What's your first memory at RCB?
First memory is actually, I remember we got to Bangalore, and if I'm not wrong, we did a launch at Taj West End. I remember, and it was a collaboration with some clothing brand who had done formal clothing for RCB. I think so, Peter England or Louis Philippe, one of those. And I remember we were called to Bangalore, and I checked into Windsor, and then we were called to Taj for this first event the day I arrived. So the squad is going to be presented. It was amazing atmosphere, like it was a proper ramp and all the who's who of Bangalore, and everyone's there, and everyone's excited to see the players, and the squad was presented. And I remember walking into the room, and that's the first time I met Zach and PK and these guys, and for me it was surreal because I was just sitting there and I was so timid. I was actually taken aback by the fact that I'm sitting in the same room with these guys. They just made me feel comfortable, and from there on, our camaraderie, our friendship grew. And but yeah, that moment for me was very intimidating. I clearly remember.
Is this the famous Omni year as well? You can tell us that story. That's a fun story.
Without taking names, I was, after that season, because I was an under-19 boy, and I was sent to the airport after the season ended in a Omni van, and which I wasn't quite pleased about because everyone else was getting like a decent car to go to the airport in, and I was the only one that was left. And probably they would have said, just give him anything, just get him to the airport. And that wasn't a good car, I'm sorry to say, but I would have at least liked a decent car, which is